You have coaches who make everybody in their own image, and you have other coaches that make judo fit the player. I wanted to be a club that gave everybody an honest shot.
Located in Broussard, Louisiana, the Louisiana Judo Club is home to many Olympic hopefuls and an awesome training facility for the whole Lafayette community. Now on to this judo van adventure we go. After making it to the Louisiana state border, I stopped at Mike's Catfish Inn for a little bit of lunch and some dessert before hitting the open road again on my way to Broussard. This club is ginormous. It has all the facilities that you would need to be a successful judoka. A large mat space, a gym, and they even have a sauna for those cutting weight.
Kyosuke, Ray.
Alright, break off, guys.
Many judoka were on break after the large tournaments, so luckily I got to have an interview with one coming home for vacation. Hey, I'm Mitchell, and I'm here with
Eliana, hi.
And so, can you tell them a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so I'm 18 years old. I compete under USA Judo. My gym that I compete for is Colton Brown Training Center in New Jersey. This is my hometown gym, so I come back here every month or so to visit family and be home. So.
What's your competitive gym, you said?
Colton Brown Training Center.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, in New Jersey.
Nice. And there's a lot of really good players there, right?
Oh my gosh, yes. It's definitely one of the best gyms in the country. I'm
not incorrect by saying you're really, really good, right?
I would hope so, yeah.
I mean, you've, Pan Am's?
Pan Am's, Worlds, and national titles.
And in fact, just this weekend, how'd you place at seniors?
I placed second in the IJF junior division in 63. Yeah.
Nice, that's awesome. So, she's really good, and if we ever did Rondori, there'd be a lot of blood with how hard she would throw me. So, now, a couple questions with some of the judo stuff. I'm going around and I'm asking people about the growth of judo, the decline of judo, right? Like how they see judo. And so, how would you describe the overall judo community in terms of growth and decline?
Well, it depends what region of the country you're in, but I would say on the coast, we have so much judo. There's so much judo in California, and so much on the East Coast as well. It's the South, maybe not Texas. We have a lot in Texas, but the South, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Arkansas, we don't have that much judo. I feel like it's a lot more jiu-jitsu, so I really want to start getting people involved through jiu-jitsu gyms. I feel like a lot of jiu-jitsu gyms see judo, or even wrestling. They'll see judo, they use judo. They just don't know what judo is. So we gotta get that. We gotta get that fixed.
Do you think it's a marketing issue on behalf of some of the more national organizations?
It can be, yeah. I think it's marketing. I think it's other sports are so much more popular because they offer more. Judo doesn't offer much to get. A lot of the athletes are self-funded. A lot of the athletes, it's a really hard sport. Whereas wrestling, it's in schools. It's not hard to do wrestling or get into wrestling. It's in schools. Jiu-jitsu is not hard to get into either because of MMA and UFC. People know that kind of stuff because it's on TV. Stuff like that.
Well, and even with MMA, I mean, it was started by the Gracie family, and all the announcers, they're all BJJ guys. None of them are judo.
Yeah. So it's more, it talked about because it's on TV. A lot of people know jiu-jitsu from MMA, so it's more popular.
Now, in terms of judo here in Louisiana, have you seen an overall increase or decrease? How have you seen it?
I think increase. We've actually met a few other gyms just up north that we heard are doing, they're jiu-jitsu gyms, but they're doing judo. They're trying to teach more judo. So I think it's increasing in Louisiana for sure.
What do you think could be a path forward for the community to grow and expand?
I think offering it to more kids would help a lot. So I think teenagers drop out really easy because high school sports come up, and high school sports require you to be at school most of the day. And you don't have time for judo practice because you're tired because you get off of your sport at 4. I think maybe offering judo in schools, maybe it being more accessible to our younger kids. Because as a senior in judo, you've been doing judo, or you are very new. There's like no in between for seniors. You've either been doing it since you were little, or you're very new. For kids, we got to get them in young so that they're raised in the sport, or even just martial arts in general. I think martial arts is always good.
If there's one thing you could have for judo right now in America, what would that be?
Better funding for their athletes. We struggle a lot. We're all self-funded, so I think better funding for athletes would encourage more serious competitors, better access to training. That's pretty much it.
Makes sense. Well, I appreciate you talking with us,
Thank
and
you.
Hopefully we'll see you on the screen in LA.
Yeah,
So-
hopefully. Thank you so much.
Thank you. After the interview with Al, I got to sit down with the Louisiana Judo head coach and club owner and have an interview. I will say this was by far the best interview I had on the entire road trip. Hey, so I'm Mitchell Hewitzer. What's your name?
I'm Kerry Davis. I'm head coach and owner of Louisiana Judo in Broussard, Louisiana.
And so how long have you been doing judo, sir?
So I started judo in 1996 on a dare, believe it or not, and I fell in love with it. The second I saw it, I loved it, and I've been doing it ever since. So 30 years. This is my 30th year in judo.
Wow. What program did you get started through judo? Like, was it a youth judo program, collegiate?
It was a collegiate program. I actually started under Coach Connie Laverne in a nationally recognized program, a huge program. Actually, it was the largest program in the nation at the time.
Wow.
400 students. We competed everywhere, and it was fun, man. It was a bunch of young guys just beating each other's brains out. And it was great. It was good camaraderie, and it was fun. And I guess we really didn't realize how good we were getting. But yeah, it was fun, man. I love it. I'm hooked, stuck, still doing it.
What school was that, sir?
So it's actually USL, which is now the University of Louisiana. It's not even called USL anymore. But yeah.
And what happened to that program, if I may ask?
Actually, my coach retired. My coach, Connie Laverne, got to a point where she was just tired. And right after we got awarded a national training facility, she folded it up. So we had no place to go. So after kind of banging around some other clubs, it just made sense for me to open my own.
Yeah, I think the next closest judo club is in Houston, or
There's actually some little ones on the outskirts of Louisiana, but they don't do anything competitively. As far as competitive judo goes, we are the #1 club in this state, and we have been for some time. So we've had, I think the most we've had at one time was 11 ranked players in the United States.
That's insane.
So, and we continue to pump out a good product, which is great.
do you think there's been a decline in judo?
I don't personally. I think it's on the up now. So the biggest problem I face in judo has always been people don't know what it is. So if I can get them here and show them, I got them, right? They love it. It's fun. It makes sense. But people don't know what it is. They get confused. They think it's judo chops and crazy stuff.
Yeah.
But I would say it's on the rise right now. We seem to be getting a little bit more crossover from jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu took a lot away from judo, in my opinion, for a long time. But it seems to be coming back towards judo now.
Now, with the positive growth of judo, some of the clubs I've been talking to, they have a kids program, they have college, they have cadet teens, they have veterans. What kind of crowd does your club deal with?
Man, we take them at 4 years old, and the oldest guy we have is 77.
Whew!
And everything in between. So that's another thing, right? When I opened a club, I wanted to be a club that gave everybody an honest shot. I don't turn people away. I don't care if you have autism, if you have a mental disorder. I give everybody a chance because I do believe I can teach anybody judo.
That makes
right?
sense.
And that's the goal. That's the challenge for me as a coach is whatever walks in the door, I have to make it work for you. I have to find a way to make judo fit you, not you fit judo. I think you have two different kind of coaches. You have coaches who make everybody in their own image, like a bunch of little cookie cutter players.
Yeah.
And you have other coaches that make judo fit the player. So that's the fun for me, is finding a way to make it work for you. And it's one of the things I love about judo is you can really take judo and make it your own. You have to come here. You have to put in the work. You have to learn how to be a partner. And you have to build your own little toolbox. All my guys play different, and it's great. And my coaches coach different. As long as it's fundamentally correct, we're good.
And that was actually something I saw was everyone, when we did the uchikomis, I asked one of your players, I was like, which uchikomis are we doing? Because I'm so used to going to clubs and we're going to do, like the pulling, the classic where you set it up for like the uchimata or like, haragosh, or, we're doing, sayanagi,
Right.
uchikomi, but they were like, whatever one you want. And I was like, whoa, this is a little different.
That's the thing. Like, so we do classes as well as open mats, right? And I think it's important to have that open mat time to come in and actually work on whatever you feel like you need to work on. I try to give them as much time on the mat as possible, and it works. Guys want to get better. So like one thing we do a really good job of here is we stomp out ego. I'll be honest, I give everybody here a week for free. And it's not because I'm a really nice person. It's because it gives you the best chance to come and see what we do. But it also gives me a chance to see if you fit what we do, right? Because your tuition is not worth messing up what we have here.
Now, with that, I've seen some different people on the internet say, well, we need to raise prices and kind of pull people out of judo. Other people saying we need to call them out through other ways, as well as, some people saying, well, we just need to teach it to everyone and then just it'll figure out.
Okay.
What is your kind of perspective on this?
Okay.
Even though I know you already said it a little bit.
No, so when I first started, I taught for 7 years in a rec center for free. I didn't charge anybody anything. I made a deal with the rec center where I would teach judo to special needs kids in exchange for time where I could put the mats down and teach my guys. And I really thought I was giving back to judo. And when I went and sat with my coach, and my coach asked me how the program was doing, and I said, it's great. I have 100 students. And she said, well, what are you charging? And I said, nothing, I'm giving it back. And she said, your program is worthless. And it crushed me. But it made me understand, like, people have to find value in something, right? So you see these gyms. There are a lot of gyms locally who I don't think can hold a candle to us competitively, right? If you want to match accolades and things like that, but they charge way more than we do. And people flock to those gyms because they think the more they pay, the better it is. I don't want to do that, man. I want to make it work for everybody. If I have to cut a price for somebody to get them in here, then it's worth it for me to do that. Because my goal is to spread judo. Like, I want people here. This is not my main job. This is still a hobby for me. But I do adjust my prices accordingly. I'm the cheapest around because I choose to be, not because we offer an inferior product, because I choose to be that way. And unfortunately, being a coach kind of turns you into a sounding board sometimes, but it works, man. And I think as a coach, so like, rank is no longer important to me. Yeah, I'd love to be a 5th degree, and that's going to come in time, but I'm judged now on the product I put out, right? I put out high-level players. I send them all over the world. And that's a cool feeling, right? I don't compete anymore. I'm pretty old and beat up. And I live through my guys. They win, I win. They lose, I lose. So it's not uncommon for us to go to a tournament, win, come back, look at the tape, tear it apart, figure out what we did good, what we did bad, go to a tournament. If we lose, we do the exact same thing. Because that's how we get better. That's what we use tournaments for. Everybody here has a ton of medals, and that's great. And my gym is probably ultimately judged on how many medals and accolades we get. But at the end of the day, we use tournaments to figure out where we're weak and where we need to improve. I sent a kid to a tournament last week, and he was only allowed to throw one throw. And he's a brown belt, and he could only throw one throw. That was it. If you throw anything else, you owe me 100 burpees.
Woo.
So, like, you're either going to win with that throw or you're going to lose trying to throw that throw. But we're going to get it. That's what's going to happen. Having players trust me enough to follow that, because people could honestly say, like, there's no way. It's a really great feeling, right? But they believe that that's a path that'll get them better. And that's a cool thing as a coach, man. To have the trust of your players, I think is super important. They have to know that I have their best interests in mind. You know, like my goal is for them to win. You know, so.
And that's really cool, and that's actually something I think across the board is it's as a coach, it's your players who make you a good coach.
Oh,
it's
100%.
It's not what you give, but it's what the people you've been given to. Give.
I'm a better coach than I ever was a player, and that's the truth. Right? I know a lot of coaches who have tons of personal accolades, and I don't. I won some tournaments here and there, but I'm a much better coach than I ever was a player. And in the beginning, putting out players that have gone farther than me personally was difficult to deal with, right? Because I'm like, man, what are we doing? Like, I'm coaching this guy, and he's going further. He's going across the world to compete, and he just medaled in wherever. But at first it was tough. And then, like, I really had to sit back and go, like, that's the goal. That's the plan. That's what I wanted, for them to be better than me and to pass this on, later on.
Is it difficult for you to not give up a student, but see a student go to maybe a more like advanced club, if I want to say? Like, I know Elle trains here, but now she goes to Colton Brown's.
So and Trey went to Jimmy Pedro's, and he went to Colton's, and it's the same thing, and at first, that's a really tough one to deal with, man. I had these kids from zero. I took them from the ground up and got them to number one in the United States, but ultimately in Louisiana, we just don't have clubs around here that we can work with. There's not a lot of bodies. In the beginning, super difficult. Like, it's really tough to know that you put in all the work and somebody else is just going to snatch them and take them. Because in my mind, I did the hard part. Like, I'm the one talking break falls and all the things that nobody wants to do. Like, all you're doing is cleaning up little bitty stuff, right?
Yeah.
So it is tough. But I've grown as a coach, and I understand that has to happen. So they need to go to these camps. They need to go to these things where they're pushed. And honestly, they have an honest shot at making the Olympics, which is crazy. We could put 2, maybe 3 in the Olympic trials from Broussard, Louisiana.
Yeah, that's crazy.
In a place where there's no judo anywhere around here. That's nuts. But it does make it tough. We do have to go to Texas to get tournaments and get matches, and it's, we have to bring clinicians in, and I mean, it's tough to get everybody exposure, right? Because look, traveling is expensive. Competing is expensive. And some of my best players will never get to where I think they can because they just don't have the funding. And that's the tough part, right? Because to make it as an elite athlete, you have to have help. You have to have somebody behind you that can pay for these things and provide these different things. And unfortunately, I have a lot, and every coach does. Every coach has players that they believe they could put in a tournament and they could be successful and they could actually go far if they just had help. Look, we sanction tournaments. We pay club dues, we pay membership dues, we pay tournament fees, we pay all these things, and it really doesn't benefit us.
Yeah.
So that makes it tough for us, and every other club.
Now, with that, I've heard some people say from USA Judo, and not just USA Judo, but the JF and the JA and the AJJ and all the organizations, that it's up to the individual club to figure it out. Like, grassroots judo starts in the roots. It starts with the clubs. They can't really do anything. But what would you say to that?
I always thought, and this is just my personal thing, right? So they do pay these Olympic hopefuls, right? Why not pay them to do a clinic in the South? Free of charge. Just get people there. Do 2 a year. Do 1 in a southern region. Do 1 on the East Coast. Whatever, right? Make them not earn their money, but they are the ambassadors for this sport. All these Olympians, that they are the people we look to. Why not have them come and help really grassroots judo? People who might never have a chance to even see them. Because let's be honest, like, you go to a tournament, what's the biggest tournament? US Open, probably 2,000 people. Okay, cool. How many people play judo in the United States?
I think, what is the number, like 25, 50,000?
Okay. Yeah, 2,000 at the US Open.
Yeah.
That's a relatively small number compared to the whole, right? So you have to find a way to reach those people. I remember when I was at UL, we would bring in clinicians. We would bring in Jimmy Pedro, Larry Lee, Eddie Liddy, these people who were way beyond us. But it was so cool just to see them
One of my favorite camps in the Southeast is Greatest Camp in Matthews, North Carolina.
Yep.
Maybe if USA Judo could subsidize camps like that for the youth in North Carolina, or find ways to subsidize it.
I think that should be the goal for them, to do whatever you can to get more people interested, you know. And I think having a chance to work with a Ryan Reeser, with a Nick DiPapalo, you know, with a Darcy, like, that's great, man. That's the stuff you remember.
Yeah.
That's the stuff you talk about.
I mean, I still remember getting choked out by Flavio Canto at Greatest Camp 2 years ago.
That's the stuff you remember.
I'll never forget. I reached in to do the technique, and then he did a Sankaku on me, and the whole world was black.
That's the stuff you remember, though, man. Yeah, man, judo's great, man. Judo's amazing. You know, I love it. I'll do it as long as I possibly can. So, yeah.
Now, my last question. This has already been really good, so thank you. If Judo could move in one direction right now, do you think, like, if Judo could just have this one thing, do you think it would be Judo in the schools and maybe not free, but inexpensive, kind of like wrestling? Do you think it could be collegiate Judo? Do you think it would be youth? Like, what would you say?
So I think it would depend on the goal, right? If the goal is to grow Judo and compete with other countries, obviously you put it in the school system, right? Because that's where you influence people. Mm-hmm. You know, you're not going to influence as many college kids as you will little kids, you know? So I think putting it in the schools is essential if you ever want to get to a point where you're like Japan, France, all these, that's what they do. You know, they put money in the infrastructure to build Judo, right? It's important to them. You know, actually 30 years ago, there was Judo in the schools in Lafayette.
Wow.
Here, yeah. I trained coaches that taught in 6 schools in Lafayette Parish.
As soon as I go here,
I hope they do it. You know, I'd love to do it here. It's just tough here. Like, Louisiana's not a real hot spot for Judo.
Well, and you're a working professional.
Yeah.
You know,
So
there's not enough.
and I'm actually opening another club.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm opening one in Lake Charles. So
That's
we're kind
exciting.
of in the process of doing that. So I'm gonna expand Louisiana Judo out a little bit and see what happens. So
That's exciting.
yeah, man. You know, got to do something. Try to grow it here.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, sir. I really appreciate the
Man, it's
interview.
great, man.
I appreciate you having me out to your club.
Absolutely,
This has
man.
been an awesome experience.
Look, if you're ever in town, man, you're welcome here. Please.
I mean,
come
you know,
visit.
a taxing experience. I'm out of breath still. But
Come on, man. That was probably an easy one for you, man. But yeah, man, you're anytime. Please stop by anytime, man. Keep in touch for sure.
thank you.
Absolutely, man.